For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using the Baby Blanket Lions brand yarn, a 4mm crochet hook, and a pair of scissors. This is a new project I'm filming, so I actually don't know how much you're going to be using, but I will let you know either in the description box or at the end of this video. To begin, we will start off with a slip knot. You will chain up 6, form a loop by slip stitching into the first chain, chain up 3. This will count as your first double crochet. Then you're going to double crochet 15 more into the loop. You're going to have 16 stitches total. I completed my 15 stitches with a total of 16. I'm going to slip stitch into the beginning here. To form a circle. Then you will chain up 7. You will skip a stitch, and then you will double crochet into the next stitch. Chain up 4, skip a stitch, and then double crochet into the next. That's the pattern for this row. You will just chain up 4, skip a stitch, work into the next one, and double crochet. So just repeat that around. Okay, so I'm at my last, or I chained up my last 4. We're going to skip that stitch there, and then we're going to count up to the 3rd chain and slip stitch into the 3rd chain. And that's how you close the round. For the 3rd round, you will slip stitch into the next space there, chain up 3, double crochet 3 into the space, so that's a total of 4 stitches. You will chain 3 and then double crochet 4 more into the next space. Chain 3 and then double crochet 4 in the next space. And that's the pattern for this round. Double crochet 4 in the space and then chain 3. Alright, I crocheted up my last 3 chains there. Then you will slip stitch into the first stitch from the beginning to close. For the next round, you will chain up 3, double crochet 1 in the next stitch, double crochet 1 in the next, and in the next, so you're just repeating what you did the row before, only you're going to add 1 more, so you're going to double crochet into that chain, you will chain up 3, and then you will skip these 2 chains, and then you will double crochet into the double crochet from the row before, and you will put 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, so that's 1, 2, and 3, so that's a total of 4 stitches, but we want 5 like we did over here, so we want to double crochet 1 into the chain. And then you will chain up 3, I'll show you that sequence again, but you'll just repeat that all the way around. Skip those 2 chains, double crochet into the previous double crochet. You'll do the same with all of them. But there's only 4, so we'll add another into the chain, so that you have a total of 5. Chain 3, and you'll do it again. Alright, I'm back at the end here, and you will just slip stitch to close. And this is what your piece should be looking like right now. For the last round, you will chain up 2, work a double crochet into the next stitch, but only pull through the first 2 loops. Act like you'll do a double crochet in the next stitch, but only pull through 2, and you'll do that for the next 2 as well. You just do half of the double, and then you'll have 5 loops on your hook, and you'll pull through all of them to combine them. You will chain up 5. You will double crochet into the space here, chain up 6, double crochet one more time into the space, chain 5. Now with these 5 stitches, you'll do the exact same thing you did over here. So you'll start to work a half double or a double crochet and only pull through 2 loops. You'll start to work another double crochet, but only pull through the first 2, and so on. For the rest of the time, you'll have like 6 loops on there instead of the 5 that we started with. So you'll pull through all of those, and then you'll chain up 5 again. For this space, you're just going to slip stitch. Then you're going to chain up 5 again. And then I'll show this process one more time. You'll start to work a double and only pull through the first 2. And then you'll pull through all 6 loops, chain up 5, and then for the space you will double crochet 1, chain 6, and double crochet 1 more again into the same loop, chain 5. So I hope you guys got the pattern. Every other space is different. So meaning you'll alternate between chaining 5, slip stitching, and chaining 5. And then the other space will be chain 5, double crochet, chain 6, double crochet, chain 5. So every other space, it'll be worked differently. So I'll show you this one more time. You'll just chain up 5, slip stitch into the space, chain up 5 again. And then these ones where you chain 6 with the double crochets, that forms a corner. So eventually it'll go like this. And then those chain 5 slip stitch, it's kind of like the straighter edge of the square. And then these are the corners. So if you need to, just rewind and play that back. I know it's a little bit complicated. So I'm at the end here. I did my chain 5 slip stitch. I'm going to chain 5 again. And then, do you see this stitch right here? Right above this? That is what you'll slip stitch into to close the round. Now it's a little bit wonky, so you'll just have to kind of square it out. But this is your finished piece. Now you'll work up another one, but you won't do the last row. You'll pause and then I will meet you back and then I'll show you how to attach them. Okay, so I'm on my second motif and I'm on the last row here. But instead of working it all the way up, I'm only going to form 2 corners and then I will meet you back, and rewind to the other part if you have forgotten how to do this. Okay, so I worked it up to where I have 2 corners already done. So that's 1 and then 2. And now I'm on this side of the square right now. I'm going to finish up this little part. Okay, so that's one corner, 2 corner, and now I'm at the 3rd corner. And this is where we will start to combine it. So you will grab your finished square. So I chained up the 5 for the corner. I'm going to double crochet into the space to start the corner. And now instead of chaining 6, we're going to chain up 3. Then we're going to grab the corner of the other square. And then you're going to slip stitch. Chain up 3. And then go back to the unfinished square and double crochet 1 into the space. See, that attaches the 2 corners. Once you have double crocheted, you will chain up 5 or chain up 3. Once you have chained up 3, you're going to work into that chain 5 space from your other square. You're going to slip stitch into that. Chain up 2. And then you are going to create the stitch where you combine all these. 5 stitches into 1. I showed you that earlier. Pull through all of them. Now what you are going to do is chain up 3. Slip stitch into that chain 5 space on the other square. Chain 2. It's really hard to crochet at this angle. Okay. So that's where we're at right now. After you chain 2, you will slip stitch into a space here. You will chain up 2 or chain up 3. Slip stitch into that chain space there. Chain 2. Now you're back at one of these, the 5 clusters right there, so you're going to combine them all into 1 stitch. Chain up 3. Slip stitch into the chain 5 space. Chain 2. And now you will double crochet into this space there. Chain up 3, slip stitch into that chain 6 space, the corner, chain up 3 again, and then you will double crochet again into that space. Okay, so that is how you seamlessly attach the 2 granny squares. It's kind of complicated, but I hope I explained that well enough, and I hope the video quality was good enough for you guys to see it. So now to finish this up, we will just finish with the same pattern along this edge and then attach at the corner and tie off. You will do this process again so that there is a total of 3 altogether. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this out by chaining up 5. And finishing out the row. Okay, so I just attached my 3rd granny square, and now we're just going to create a simple border by chaining 1 and single crocheting into each stitch all along the edge here, just to create more of a flat surface on the edges. So you'll just single crochet all the way around in each stitch. Okay, so I just finished single crocheting all along the edge. It does make it a little bit thicker, so it'll be easier to work into once we sew things up. You're going to create this piece another time, so you'll have 2 of these. Okay, so once you have created your 2 pieces of 3, to do the bottom portion of the top, this is the front portion that you're looking at. So you'll take one of the corners here and you will attach your yarn, your new piece of yarn you will single crochet along this edge here. Okay, so now that you have single crocheted all along this edge here, you will flip it like this, and then just go ahead and work into the back right there by single crocheting. You're not going to chain it all, you're just going to continuously work. You're going to single crochet until you reach this corner. Once you have single crochet to this corner, you will flip it back like this. Lift the front portion up on this side. And then you will single crochet along this edge here. Once again, you'll do it seamlessly. And single crochet along this edge until you reach the other corner here. Okay, so I single crochet to this corner here. Now I'm going to fold back the front portion. And then I will just seamlessly start to crochet into the top and single crochet all the way over. Until you reach this point. Okay, so by doing this, you created 2 armholes essentially on each side. So there's 1, 2, and then the front portion is open, but the back is closed. I'll show you on my mannequin what this looks like. Okay, see how the front portion, it's open. It comes at this angle here. It has a slight sleeve because it comes out from the shoulders. And the back is very beautiful with this kind of plunging V-neck. And then eventually for the body, it will close because we will add buttons. So this will kind of pull together like so. Okay, so to continue the body portion, you will chain up 1, turn your work, and put 1 single crochet into each stitch. You'll put 1 single crochet into each stitch, all along the back. Make sure it's not twisted. And across the armholes and to the other front piece. Okay, all the way to the other end. Just 1 single crochet in each stitch. Okay, so I've single crocheted all along the edge here, and you're just going to continue that for at least 20 rows. Just by chaining, turning your work, single crocheting in each stitch. And I will meet you back and tell you exactly how many rows I did for the bottom half. Okay, so I have single crocheted up to 15 rows. So that's what your piece should be looking like. So a little something like this. So I stopped at 15 rows. You can continue on more if you want this portion a little bit bigger. I'm going to show you how I added a detail at the bottom to make it look a little bit more interesting and to finish the top. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, skip a stitch, and then in the next stitch you're going to single crochet 5 times. This creates a scallop, which I think adds a little feminine detail at the bottom. So then you'll skip the next stitch and then slip stitch into the next one. And then it forms this little hump. So I'm going to run through that with you again. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then in the next one we're going to insert 5 single crochets. Skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next. We're going to do it again. Skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next. 5 times in the same stitch. Skip the next stitch and then slip stitch into the next one. Okay, and then it forms these little cute detailed scallops at the bottom. So I'm just going to continue that pattern all along the bottom here. Okay, so I did the scallops all along the bottom here. And I just finished up, so I'm going to tie off. Pull through to secure. Okay, so this is what it should be looking like. You are basically done. And this will stop warping after a while. It's just because it's freshly crocheted. So once you wear it a few times or wash it, that will go away. So to finish, this is the front portion. You're going to decide which side you want the buttons on, and you're going to hear some buttons. Okay, so I found 3 buttons in my studio because I don't really want to go to the craft store right now. And even though it doesn't really go with the piece, I'm all about reusing, so I'm just deciding if I want 2 or 3 buttons. I think 2 looks more appropriate. So then you will just take a some crochet thread and a needle, and you will hand sew these on like so. So I'm just going to be using this yarn thread and then a needle. Once I have went around a few times, I have both of my strings on the back here, and then I just tie a few knots to secure it. And later on I will sew in these pieces and through the back stitches. So I'm going to repeat that process for the second button. After you have sewn on the 2 buttons, now you will create the little loops that will go around the buttons. So you'll just kind of eyeball and see where you feel like it would make the most sense to attach the little pieces. So I will insert my hook. Attach the yarn. I'm going to insert my hook and pull through to get it started. Then I will chain up 10. and slip stitch back down here to form a loop. Now just make sure, kind of mock it, hold it down and make sure that it goes over the button. I actually might take a few chains out because it looks like there's a lot of slack. So I'm actually going to take out 3 to maybe just do 7 chains. So now we will mock that. That's a little bit too small. Let's go up to 8. I think 8 will be good. Okay, so we chained up 8 and then we're just going to slip stitch back down where we started so that it forms this loop. Then we're just going to slip stitch so we don't have to attach a new piece of yarn. We're just going to slip stitch up to where we need the other. Until we get to the place where we are going to form the other loop. And I think it's going to start right here. Let's make sure. Yeah, I think that will work. So then we'll do the exact same thing as we did to the other side. So we'll do the exact same thing as we did the other side, chain up 8, slip stitch back down here where it started, and we will tie off. And your project is complete. Just sew in all the ends and you're ready to wear.